Alright everyone, time for another booze video. Here we go. Another one from the box of booze in the cupboard sent by Savage Henry. So here we go. I think I've got a couple more of the ones sent by the Drunk Cooks, Ray and Rhiannon. But I forget which one's which, so I just pulled this one randomly out. And yeah, so I've got a few left to get through. And anyway, fuck, this video's got off to a bad start. I'm losing my train of thought already. So Thatchers Green Goblin, as I've said probably a million times, it's got the Witchwood Brewery artwork on there. I just did a bit of research because I used to think it was made by Witchwood, but it's made by Thatchers, and I think Thatchers took over and they now make it. But at least they make it, and it still has the Witchwood artwork and all that, and the font and stuff. But it now says Thatchers at the top instead of Witchwood because they make it. So it's oak aged cider, and it's got this evil looking goblin on the front. I'll get the camera to pick that up. It looks like he's kind of stomping on fairies and things. Also, while I was looking this up, I found the cool story about the goblin on the artwork. This is a red-capped goblin, which is considered a really dangerous type of goblin in British folklore. And I think it's a Witchwood site I looked at. It was about the artwork and the story behind it. Apparently the red-capped goblins are supposed to appear up at the border between Scotland and England, which I live quite close to, being up in Newcastle. And apparently they attack travellers out in the countryside, or they haunt castles or ruined castles or battlefield sites, and they'll kill people, drink their blood, and then dip their caps in the blood of their fallen victims, and that's how they get their red caps. So I don't know what that has to do with cider, but it's a cool story, and I learned a little bit more about English folklore, which it's a subject that I just absolutely love. It's pretty strong, 6% ABV. It says, here comes Green Goblin from deep in the wood. 100-year-old oak vats, that is. Made with bittersweet apples and matured in the oak, Green Goblin cider is a full-flavoured blend, beautifully balanced with a medium dry finish. One sip and your taste buds will be dancing with joy. Also, another thing I learned about the artwork, because it previously appeared on a Witchwood beer before they made the cider. The beer was called, one second, Whirligig. So I didn't used to drink Witchwood beers in the past, so I don't remember it, but apparently they had a beer called Whirligig where they used the same artwork. There you go. It looks a bit the printing of it doesn't bring out the details of the picture that much. There's a much better picture of that on the website I was looking at. It looks a bit sort of, I don't know, like bad contrast or something. Anyway, let's drink this down. I've got another thing as well. So a couple of weekends ago I was down near Preston, some seaside town. It was full of posh, rich-looking people. I can't remember I'm sure I said on another video what the place was called, but I've forgotten. Anyway, I was trolling in the charity shops and I found something excellent. Look at this, pewter tankard. What do you think to that? It's got some kind of stamp on the bottom. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. Can you pick that up? It's BPC within a triangle, and the triangle is within a circle. It says pewter and made in England. So actually I wanted to pour some of this out. Alright, this is going to be a bit, hold on. I'm drinking a bit of water. Right, let's open this bottle. Anyway, basically if I'm pouring it into the tankard I won't be able to see what colour it is, so I'm going to pour a bit into the bottom of that water bottle. So here we go. Since 1904, Thatchers Focus. Yeah, there you go. Somerset cider. Smells a bit vinegary, really. That smell. Let's pour a bit into this water bottle. Just, I want to see if it's green. I'm suspecting it's yellow. Yeah, it's just yellow. I thought maybe it'd be green coloured, but that maybe be a bit artificial. That first taste, it tasted like Strongbow, I think. Which is, a lot of people would consider that to not be a very good thing. A bit bittersweet and I don't know. Yeah, let's have another look at this tankard. So it's got a kind of ridged design around the sides. There's the handle for it. Look at this thing. I'm really proud of it. You know what, as well, it was $3.99, and when I said, oh, can I have a look at that tankard in the window, and she went, oh, you can have it for $1.99 because it's been in there for ages. No one's been interested in it. So I don't like people who haggle in charity shops because I think they're wankers. But if the woman said, like, oh, you can just have it for $1.99, I wasn't haggling or anything. She just let me have it. Then I think maybe I looked like a poor person because the town I was in, everyone looked rich. Maybe she took pity on me, I don't know. I'm going to drink the green Goblin Cider out of this pewter tankard. What a combination. Wow, really fizzing like crazy. I don't know if the pewter tankard amplifies the fizz, but it seems really, really loud. Another thing I've researched before making this video was the pewter tankards. I looked on the Wikipedia page for them. I don't know when this was made, but apparently in previous centuries pewter tankards had lead in the metal, and it would leach out into the drinks, especially in places in England where cider drinking was very common. So this could be deadly, this cider in the thing, because apparently the acids in the cider bring out the lead even more. But I don't know, we'll see. Fascinating. I wonder how many people have drank out of this. I wonder if it's old. It might be brand new. I just don't know. Like, it doesn't look like too worn or anything. Anyway. Something nice about drinking out of a metal container. Don't think I've ever done it before. The coldness, because it's been in the freezer for about half an hour before I started recording, the coldness really sort of goes through the metal, and I don't know. I know it does on glass as well, but something about the way it transfers through the metal, especially as you like drinking it, like cools down your mouth. As for the cider, honestly, I reckon you give me a can of Strongbow and a bottle of this, put them in two glasses so you couldn't tell what was what, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two. I think maybe Strongbow's a bit sweeter, like it's got a lot of, I think it's got like artificial sweetener in there and stuff, so it might taste a bit more artificial, but it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting, like, when it says like aged in 100-year-old oak vats, I was expecting a really deep flavour, smoky, woody tasting, and it did smell a bit like that when I first opened it. Like when I said it smelled vinegary, it smelled aged or something, you know. But the taste of it, it's nothing to write home about, really. It's not bad. It's perfectly good cider. But it's definitely not what I was thinking from the description of it. what I imagined it would be like. I don't know. I was expecting the tankard to make it taste metallic, but it doesn't really. I mean, unless my mouth actually touches the, like if I put my tongue on the actual metal bit as I'm drinking it, maybe I can taste the metal, but it doesn't affect the flavour of the drink really. It really like makes a load of like condensation on the outside of the tankard. I could go to some kind of live action roleplay event with this, couldn't I? Yeah, it's okay. It's alright. It's not bad. It's just, yeah, not slightly disappointing just because I was expecting a bit more, especially from Witchwood beers. They always, I've always thought they've tasted really unique, like that, really rich from deep flavours, and the cider, it could be any cider. I think that's the problem with it. I think maybe I'm getting a bit more taste now, but I think maybe that taste is coming from the tankard. A bit of a metallic taste, a bit of a different flavour, but I think that is from the drinking vessel rather than the actual cider itself. I could be wrong. Maybe I should have drank this in a glass just to be sure, but I don't know. I wanted to try out my tankard. I guess this is more of a tankard review than a beer review. I got another thing when I was in that charity shop as well. Great Mysteries. Look at it, I just bought it because I had a massive skull on the front. Mysteries of the Afterlife. I don't know, I haven't read any of it yet. It's got loads of. Oh, wait, got loads of spooky pictures in there of churches and old woodcuts and stories about ghosts and things. So I'll have a look through this one point. Poltergeists. Loads of old. I just like these books because they have loads of weird pictures, and it's not, when you're looking for creepy pictures on the internet, you don't get a lot of. You get a lot of the same stuff. Look at that. Look at this picture. It's like a mandala or something. A whole massive big page. I like these books. These old books have good content as well. Like, I don't like a lot of modern books from working in a bookshop. A lot of the books we sell, it's all just pictures and hardly any writing. It's like they'll take like what would be like a pamphlet or something, like, and just stretch it out and make it look like a book, but really it's just a load of pictures. And I know in this you get like massive pictures, but it's full of content as well, like, like actual stuff to read. It's not all just like one picture there and then a little tiny bit of text and then another picture, or like they'll put like big boxes around things with a little bit of text in the box to make it make the like fill the page out. A lot of modern books do that, I've noticed. Cookbooks as well, like loads of cookbooks, loads of like information books. They're not really books at all, they're just more sort of, something that would be just a web page or something, but stretched out to make it look like a book. Yeah, I think I'm definitely tasting the pewter tankard now. Maybe that's the lead leaching out into it. Yeah, it definitely affects the flavour. I didn't think it did at first, but it's getting that metallic tang, and the actual metal itself has a smell to it. I noticed before I put the stuff in, I could smell the metal, and that sort of taste coming through. It's kind of like I don't know what sort of taste, how to describe it. slightly oily taste or something. I don't know. It doesn't make it taste bad, it's different to drinking it from a glass. Alright, some other things I want to talk about in this video. Well, it's getting a bit long now, 15 minutes in. I recorded like an outdoor video today, but I'll probably upload that tomorrow. I don't like uploading more than one video on the same day. Like, I don't know, I might record a bit more like outdoorsy. If people haven't watched my Feed the Birds videos, they've got like a lot of outdoor stuff on. The ones I've just started to Feed the Birds. Go watch Feed the Birds #2 and you'll get to see some footage of like the city where I live, like Gateshead and Newcastle. You'll get see some good footage of like the bridges and things there. The one I recorded today was just around Lobley Hill and Dunstan. Wasn't any sweeping city shots or anything, but yeah. I want to try some beers in this. If it's right what it says on Wikipedia about the acidity leaching out some of the metal, that might be affecting the taste more than if a beer was in here. But it's definitely an experience drinking out of one of these. I've never drank out of a metal tankard before. Oh, that was another thing on the Wikipedia page. It said some tankards have a glass bottom because it was cheaper just to make the glass bottom rather than the whole thing out of glass. And there's loads of theories as to why it had a glass bottom. One is that as you were drinking, you can't see, but if someone was throwing a punch at you, you'd be able to see through the bottom of the glass. Because apparently a lot of people would. Apparently back in the day, everyone was. It sounds like everyone was a bit of a pussy, and they'd punch you when you didn't have a chance to fight back. Like if you're drinking like this, smack. Do a lot of damage, a metal thing like that cracking into your face. Another thing was that I don't know the story behind this, but apparently the king would employ people to go around and conscript people into the army or something like this, and by doing how they would do it was they would drop a coin into their beer, and then when they drank it, if they picked it up and drank it with the coin in, that was they basically were accepting the invitation to join the army or something like this. I don't know, you can go and research yourself, but if they put a glass bottom on the thing, you could lift it up, see if someone had dropped one of these coins into your drink, and then, I don't know, I'll leave that be. But with a metal bottom tankard, you couldn't do that. Fascinating and vaguely inaccurate information that you learn on this channel, isn't it? Here's another bit of folklore for you. The Cornish pixie, I think, the brass pixie bottle opener. I'm sure there's some story behind that as well. I should have done a Wikipedia search on this one as well, but I didn't. Oh yeah, that was another thing I want to talk about. Because quite a few people have asked me about this or spoke to me about this on different videos, was the psychoactive substances bill, which has been apparently been passed, but they've amended it now. They've changed the actual definition of it, where beforehand they were blanket banning anything, and it was a really vague definition. It was just anything that caused some kind of effect on the brain, and they were saying like anything could, like the smell of flowers or anything could be affecting the brain. So it basically a ban on whatever they feel like banning. The government just says, right, this affects the brain, we'll ban that. It was just like a deliberately vague definition, but basically it was unenforceable. So they've changed it now, and it now blanket bans anything with a psychoactive effect that seeks to mimic anything with a psychoactive effect that seeks to mimic the effects of drugs which are already outlawed under the Misuse of Drugs Act. So when they make like a synthetic cannabis that affects the same receptors in the brain that real cannabis does, they can automatically ban it, even if they change like one bit in the chemical structure, as long as it's still can be proved to be designed to mimic the effects of an already outlawed drug. Then they can ban it. Basically, that's how the law works now. Apparently, there's a really good article on politics.co.uk which I'll put a link to in the description if you want to read more about it. It's basically about how incompetent the government have been about this whole law, but I don't know how that affects things like kratom and salvia, which weren't outlawed to begin with, and as far as I know aren't designed to mimic the effect of already outlawed drugs. So I don't know how current like legal highs that haven't been engineered to be like something that's outlawed. I don't know how it affects drugs like that, so it sort of remains to be seen, I think. But anyway, a lot of people, for some reason, because I make videos about like kratom and salvia and stuff, like sort of leave comments about that. So that's something I've been reading about. And anyway, I'll put a link to that article in the description. Go and read it, because I'm sure they do a better job of explaining it than I do. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you later.